This is where the fun begins.
I have fought the worst of all wars and witnessed the redemption of evil. I have seen balance restored to the Force. But order can turn to chaos, as it did when I was born. Now, with my loved ones and my loyal allies, I face a new challenge unlike any before. And I'm not sure if this time we can win.
Star Wars Vector Prime by R.A. Salvatore, the first novel of the new Jedi Order.
Are you sure? So be it.
Welcome everyone and good morning, and we are here and I'm excited. I am your host, Alora, and this is the channel OG Star Wars and CAF Chat, our Thursday morning gathering to discuss Star Wars lore, Lucas facts, book of the week, Cringe Factor, and even Star Wars news. So I'm so happy to be here with you guys. And first of all, we do have a announcement here. Let me see. Where did it go? Gordon, which one is it? Gordon right here. Today's his birthday. So, let me see. Oh, there we go. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gordon. Happy birthday to you. All right. So thank you for spending the time with us and hanging out with us. You could be doing a lot more out there. So I hope your day is a wonderful day, and you're surrounded by, people you love, want to spend time with. Of course, you're here with us, and that you have some wonderful adventures throughout the day. And happy 1 year around the sun. Yep, that's exactly. It's like this is just me. I nerd out about a lot of things that I love. But we have the calendar new year, but we have our own personal new year, and that's our birthday. So we go one trip around the sun, we gain a year in our life, right? So happy 1 year around the sun, Gordon. You're amazing. Thank you for being here with us. So today, I'm going to turn the camera off for right now, but I'll have it back on. So today is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So we are going into the Peace Brigade. So what do you guys know about the Peace Brigade? The name really sounds like it's something that is hopeful, about peace for everyone and stuff like that. No. So we're going to get into the Peace Brigade, what they are about, what they were doing during the new Jedi Order time. And some of you guys who maybe don't know who they are barely learning because you're barely starting to read through the series. You're going to get maybe a little shock about them. And yeah. So we're going to talk about the Peace Brigade. And then, of course, we have Book of the Week. We have Lucas Fact of the Week, which we are going to get into here pretty quick. And we also I have my special announcements, our unboxing and announcement. And what else? And Cringe Factor. So there are 10 Revenge of the Sith scenes that were redone, remade, I guess you could say, or used, or whatever. But we're going to get into that. But I'm going to go ahead and check the chat and say hello to everybody, because I cannot not do that, because that's what this is all about, is interacting with everyone here. Let's see here. So first, choke the like button and share this to all social media platform. Thanks. Yes, thank you so much, Jordan, and hello. And then Gordon, of course. Salutations, Laura and chat. Force Beast is strong with us. The Force is strong. I can't do his voice. The Force is strong in you, Skywalker. Today is the anniversary of my birth. Yes. Happy birthday. And it's going to be a great day. I've seen this part. I didn't see that until I didn't see this until I seen people wishing you a happy birthday when I was prepping and getting ready to go live. So cool. Thank you for being here with us. I can feel it. Yep. And then, of course, this is my announcement here. A fun surprise for you. Well, maybe two. Some of you guys might know. Some of you guys may not. So, but we'll see what happens with that. But smash the like button. But I have a question for you guys. If you guys can guess it, putting him on the spot. I love you, Soul Assassin. You're the greatest mod ever. And I'm going to play this just because. But I know I'll get a copyright strike for it, or a strike for it, or whatever. And where is it at? But I don't care. Where did it go? Oh, here we go.
Hey, this is going out to all the homies.
Yeah. This is for the raza. Yeah.
You trying to get crazy with this thing? Don't you know I'm loco?
No, I don't care. They'll say, "Oh, this CAF chat's not going to be monetized because of that." That's okay, because I could still receive the super chats and stuff. So who gives a shit? I love that little piece of video. I might have to go read and edit it, but I don't want to, because I love it just the way it is. Holy crap! And I never tried to, I never tried to go in town. So maybe I will. But what I'm leading to here is, what do you think Soul Assassin thought CAF meant? So he thought CAF meant something, but it was not coffee. So what do you think he meant, or he thought CAF meant in Star Wars? Yes, I put you on the fucking spot. I love you, Soul Assassin. And of course, So Wizard. Yep. Let's see here. And of course, Star Wars books can be found here for cheap. You just be careful. Make sure you don't buy the ones with the Legends label, because they do have those on as an option now too. In my merch store. Yes. And then Keely, how are you doing? Good morning to you. Trying to go through here. And Conrado, how are you doing? Yes, my paternal grandfather, he is Ilocano from Yapo Sur, way up there north, very tip of the Philippines. Let's see here. OG's excited, so you can say she's feeling very, oh, fuck you. I guess I deserve that. And Double A is here. I don't say happy birthday. Jeez, I'm so used to saying happy birthday now. Good morning. It's everybody's birthday today, but today is Gordon's birthday. And Star Wars Marvel Purist is here. What's up? And let's see here. I'm scrolling through. I know we're all saying SWA is here. Wedgens. Yes, Wedgens. And yes. And let's see here. I don't want to miss anybody, but if I do, I'm sorry, because I have a lot of shit going on that I want to announce and share and just get into with you guys. Mike says, my birthday was yesterday. Oh, okay. Happy birthday to you. Among the things I treated myself to was I got an X-Wing Rogue Squadron 2 chapters in, and I'm loving. Oh my God, you are gonna fucking love that series. It is hands down one of the best. And happy birthday to you as well. I see that you treated yourself really well by getting yourself the first X-Wing novel. It's not called Rogue Squadron series. It is called the X-Wing series, and that includes both Rogue Squadron and the novels following and within that after, and going into the Wraith and the novels following into that. So it's not 2 separate series. It's one series together. So what did Soul Assassin think, or what did Soul Assassin think CAF meant in Star Wars? Just clipped in less than 8 seconds. Yeah, that's what I have to do. But I like the whole damn thing. Okay, look at the nuisance bird is here. Welcome, welcome, and good morning. Let's see. OG's a fan of Kid Frost and Cypress Hill. Yeah. Hey, I like there's stuff. I am very eclectic when it comes to music. You'll be amazed at what I like sometimes. Okay. Did he think it was milk, like calf, as in cow? Ding, ding, ding. There, you got a winner right there. Yes, he thought it was milk. I shared this. Okay, I'm going to share this. I was waiting to share it later on as we were getting into Cringe Factor and stuff like that. But I'm going to share it now. Some of you guys who follow me on Twitter and are on my community page may have seen this already. But let me see. Is this the one? Yeah. So this right here, I shared, or I shared. And he's like, Soul Assassin's like, wow, I can't believe everybody was hyped for milk in Star Wars.
CAF. Lots of it. For me and for the Ready Room. I have a feeling this mission is not one we can fly in our sleep.
Yes. So that cracked me up when he was like, I didn't know everybody loves milk so much in Star Wars. And I'm the kind of person, and I think it's cross culture. Like if you're Mexican, Hispanic, or whatever, Native American, Filipino, or whatever, when you say something funny or out of place or whatever, we're not going to let you forget that shit. That's just how it is. So it's my B-day. I have a moment where I forget the lore and I won't hear the end of it. No, you won't. And I know that, even probably your family does the same thing to you. If you say something shitty, stupid, or whatever, you're going to not outlive it at all. And that's how we are too in my family. Growing up, that's how we were too. So, and like I said, it's not just specific cultures or anything like that. I think it's just human nature about just having fun and just teasing each other, making light of shit, and that's what we need more today is just laughing, having fun, teasing, we're too fucking serious. And that's a drag. That is a fucking drag. It's my birthday. Are you serious? Or are you just joking because I almost said everybody's birthday? Oh yeah, because I almost said happy birthday to you. And then Jordan, how's it going, Laura? It's going really, really great. Okay, let me get through this. All right, SWA member for 1 month. Thank you so much. All right, speaking of, this is a good segue to this. Let me turn my camera back on. Let me adjust the camera here. So I'm trying to pick a date, and this is something that I want to throw out. I want to do it sooner than later, because I know I said I wanted to have a special member stream with you guys, channel member stream with you guys that are members. And I wanted to do in February. We're already in February. So what I thought about doing is doing a listen, because we're not going to really watch it, but do a listen party for the book 1 of Dark Forces. So we need to up this membership, you guys. We need everybody to become a member so we can all sit and listen and discuss in the chat. Dark Forces, Soldiers for the Empire. So I need, and this is a live, but not a live like this. This is a more of a conference live, like if you were to Zoom conference or Zoom meeting. So it's going to be it's not going to be aired. It's going to be just us channel members and the mods. So the mods, even if the mods aren't members of the channel, respect where respect is due for them coming here every single Thursday and whenever I have a live, and working, I guess you could say. Put in the time, hanging out. They don't have to. You guys don't have to. And so that's my gift to you guys. So members and mods. So I need to pick a date. So I think of dates. We'll throw them out here later on. I will do the question and we'll throw them out. What would be good, like Saturday evening or something like that. So that's my first announcement. Special announcement is channel member watch or listen party for Dark Forces Book 1, Soldier for the Empire, and discussion. The discussion will be in the chat as we listen. And yeah, so pretty excited about that. What say you guys? What say you? So let's see here what you guys are saying. So if you have not become a member, or if you're feeling generous and want to hand out memberships, and I might do that here pretty soon, feel free to do so. Feel free to become a member. Feel free to gift members, and feel free to, anytime, renew your membership or what have you. Let people know that OG Star Wars for CAF Chat, or OG Star Wars in general, the George Lucas era channel, is going to have a membership listen party for Dark Forces Soldier for the Empire. This is about keeping Star Wars in front of everyone. And this is also giving back to those who are investing more into the channel. Yeah, subscribers, you are investing by subscribing and coming here every single day. But, we just got to up the ante a little bit more, So, yeah. So this is what's going on. So I'll throw out dates here pretty soon. Let's see here what's going on. Quentin, how are you doing? Hello, OG. Nice to see everyone talking about real Star Wars. Yes, you came to the right place. Yes, it was. It was an honest mistake, and I cracked up. Oh my God. I was like, oh my God. And I have those moments. We all have those fucking moments where we make an honest mistake and we're like, oh shit, now I'm not gonna outlive this shit. That kind of thing. So everybody loved it. Look at that. The Force is female is sexist to Lucasfilm rebranded as the Force's body type B. That's funny. We will never forget 100. Never forget. Let's play this.
CAF. Lots of it. For me and for the Ready Room. I have a feeling this mission is not one we can fly in our sleep.
Now, I know you guys probably recognize who was talking there, but do you know which novel that comes from? Do you know which novel that comes from? Dun, 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 a little quiz there. I'll play it one more time.
CAF. Lots of it. For me and for the Ready Room. I have a feeling this mission is not one we can fly in our sleep.
So what novel does that come from? Hint, it's from the X-Wing series. So I wasn't going to give any hints whatsoever, but here I am. And there you go. So he's like, I'm going to keep on talking about wizards. So yeah. Let's see here. You should be able to give 2 sets of 5 gift subs, Alora. Okay, I'll have to look into that. I don't have everything in front of me right now. Open up YouTube, not studio. Go to your own channel. Click on gift membership. Okay, I'll check that out really quick here. I'll probably do it here soon. There will be a chat box and disclosure on the very button. You will see the very top blue button and that cuts off. Click. It should do a set of 5. You can do 10 per month. Nice. Okay, I'll have to go check that out. Yeah, so if you guys have not became a channel member, do so. All right, so let's go ahead and get into CAF chat, or into Let me see here. Where is it at? Right here.
That's great.
It's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
Lucas facts. What is it? Here we go. So I always make it a point. It doesn't, Lucas fact doesn't have to be about George working behind the scenes in the EU or anything like that. It could be various things. And I even seen things about non-Star Wars things about Lucas facts that I might share as well. But this one is about the movie. Which one? Revenge of the Jedi. Eh? So Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of or Return of the Jedi. Blah. Okay, Laura. You could spit this shit out. May 1 or 1st, 1975. This is Lucas Facts. George Lucas writes a 6-page synopsis entitled "The Adventures of Luke Skywalker." Oh, this is episode 1, not episode 1. You know what I mean? Episode 4. Yeah. Okay. Episode 1, the start, and that's why I said episode 1. The Star Wars for Alan Ladd Jr. and the other executives at Fox. So this is A New Hope. Basically, later we know it as A New Hope. In some way, this was a summation of the second draft of the story with several notable changes. The biggest change is the reintroduce of Princess Leia as the damsel in distress that must be rescued. A familiar storyline in the serials and fairy tales that Lucas loved as a child. "Quote unquote," Star Killer became a character of legend that was killed off long before our new story begins. With Leia back in the story, the character of Luke Starkiller also switches back to being the young boy. It was here that the idea of both characters being twins first emerged. Interesting. So people are like, oh, well, George changed it. They weren't supposed to be related, blah, 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 blah. Well, he had that in mind all along. And this is in 1975, people. Think about that. So now whenever you hear people say George didn't have it planned and he changed it all of a sudden because, he revealed Vader was a father and he needed to do something about the love triangle going on, blah, blah, blah. No, well, he had an idea of them being twins in the beginning of his planning. All right. Where did I leave off at? Since the two characters were essentially developed out of one, around this time, Lucas also begins compiling pages of typed notes that included an early version of Ben Kenobi, then known as the Old Man Source, the Making of Star Wars timeline. So here you go, you guys. So this is very interesting because I've seen people who are like, oh, I'm George Lucas purist, or I'm George Lucas fan, but then they also say, well, George Lucas never really planned. It's so fucking weird how these people talk. It's like they use his name for appeal to authority, but then at the same time bash him and stuff like that. It's crazy. So he had the idea of Luke and Leia being twins in the beginning. And he also says that they were basically one character, or the ideas of them was one character. But I remember at one point, Luke was supposed to be a girl at that too. So interesting development here. What do you guys think? What say you? Get back in. Let's see. People don't understand the creative process. They don't. Let's be real. There is, here it was all Marsha, George hater and fake fans, right? Didn't George Lucas say he always wanted to call it A New Hope since the beginning, but studio said no? I don't remember that one, but I know he was looking at it as the Adventures of Luke Starkiller, and that's the basic title of it from the beginning. So who knows? I think that evolved after the fact when he got closer to the structure of the movie that we see now. But he always wanted, they were always episodic movies. Let's see here. People don't understand the creative process. Exactly. Yeah. So I think are, you know, this was such a wonderful share here that I think that, and it's already probably posted on Twitter. I have Twitter posts that are scheduled at certain times, and that's including Lucas Facts and CAF Chat Book of the Week. And so this should be already on Twitter. I will try to put this in my community or posts here on YouTube. But this is an interesting fact and a one to use as a counter for George, for those who say George never had anything planned when it came to Luke and Leia being siblings and stuff like that. This really debunks that hard time, big time. So there you go. CAF Chat, Lucas Facts here today. You can share it. You can use it as a resource. That's why I do this as well. So before we get into the book of the week, all right, I have something fun. I have something fun to share, and it is an unboxing. So let me turn on my camera. So I shared a picture on Twitter. Let me get the mic out of the way a little bit. I shared a tweet about these items are going to be involved in CAF Chat one way, shape, or form. So it had boxes there. And so I have two things that I've been waiting on. They were supposed to come, I think they came late because they were on the couch for me this morning when I got up after my husband went to work. And I was like, oh, I wanted just to reveal them to you in general and not do an unboxing because they were supposed to arrive yesterday, but they did not. So here is one. Oh yeah, I was hoping it'd be this one. Box goes on the ground under the table. I will take care of it later. It's too small for a cat to crawl into, but you never know. So I needed to collect the role-playing game, the source books. This one, holy shit, is the Legacy Era Campaign Guide. Oh, holy hell. I love this. Look at that, you guys. Look at it. Oh my God. I need to get an overview camera. So like when I have things for when I do my art videos and stuff, I can have a camera overlay onto the table. Let me see here. These are great bit of good sources here. Oh my goodness. Look at that, you guys. Let's see. Let me open it. Just going through this and looking through all the information here. Wow. Okay, like I said, I wish that I had an overlay camera so you guys can see. All right, so there's this. She looks so happy. I am so happy. Oh my God. But look at this one. This is one of my most favorite comic series, Legacy. The art in here is phenomenal. The cover is amazing. Galactic Alliance Core Fleet Commando. I mean, it has everything here pertaining to Legacy here, and bits of lore stuff, all of that. So here is one. I'm surprised they're in two boxes instead of just one. So here's one Star Wars role-playing game Legacy Era Campaign Guide. Oh, that is so, I know, it's so cool. Oh my God. So let me see here. Here's another one. It rained. It's all wet. We got rain. It's like my birthday too, Gordon. Oh my God. Oh, and this one here. Let me get the box. This one here, probably the cat can sit in. Toby, he's sitting in my art cart next to the window. So here you go, Toby. All right. So here is this one here. This one is called Threats of the Galaxy. Here's the back. Threats of the Galaxy. So, oh my God, this is so fucking exciting. Okay. So this is all about your villains and stuff, basically. from, you know, your bounty hunters to your Sith, all of that. Look at that. I don't know if you guys could see. Oh, look at this. And then you have your beasts. So fun. Holy shit. This is so good. Oh, look at the asteroid droids. Astromech droids. And she will read them too, unlike others. Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys are so fucking funny. So hot wizard. Okay, so you guys, what's crazy? You guys know I'm a yoga teacher, yoga instructor. So there's different like for your hand, you know how you have people make mudras. Well, your hand represents an element, right? So your middle finger is ether, and flipping off is a mantra gesture, and it's not bad. Just another way of expressing yourself. Yeah, so this is going to be fun. I am going to probably, after I'm done here, see if my son wants to go pick up a lunch, and I'm going to sit and nerd out to these two books. These are some that I needed to add, and I am very good. So these are the ones that there's so many I need to add, but I still need to order my bookshelf that I was supposed to order like a few months ago or even 6 months ago. I think it's time to do that. All right, so there you go. So sharing that, uncovering or unboxing. And let's see here. Yeah, so imagine that. You're right. I was like that when I did my source book mass purchase behind on reading them. I am a hashtag fake fan. Hey, life happens. I'm still behind on Jedi Eclipse right now, but that's okay because I'm almost done. I'm just nearly done. It's just life. It's not that it's boring or anything. It's just life happens. Life gets in the way, you know. And so, with that being said, though, that was a Takura the Hound on Korban. I think it was. I think I know what you're talking about. You need to get your book collection set up behind you. It will be epic. The OG archives, right? So first, let's get into our book of the week now. Since we are looking at books, excited about books, let's do this.
I hate to say it, but it looks like the item you're searching for doesn't exist.
Impossible. Perhaps the archives are incomplete.
If an item does not appear in our records, it does not exist.
All right, so book of the week, and I'm going to go live again or on camera, sorry, but let's get through the details here. This is a hard cover comics collection, and it's called the Luke Skywalker Last Hope for the Galaxy. So this is not just one comic. This comprises a lot of heavy eccentric Luke Skywalker comics. So of course editors are going to be various editors or authors, I guess you could say. Cover artist Adam Hughes, but I forgot to mention you know, illustrator or artists within here are various too, because this is not just one person in general. And the hardcover came out September of 2008. Now, this is a pretty penny. This is an investment, but it's so well worth it. When I found out about it, I really didn't know about it until Ryan Kennel shared it on his one of his live streams when he was sharing his books and stuff like that. And he just received it in the mail. And I happened to be in the chat when he was sharing it. And so I was like, I need that. And I'll show you how big this sucker is here pretty soon. And it's heavy. You could knock someone out with it. Some of you guys who have been following me for a long time may have seen the video of me when I first got the book, this comic book series, I guess you could say. And me sharing videos on Twitter of opening and going through all the pages. So, with that being said, this is here, the publisher summary, Luke Skywalker's greatest adventures from over 30 years of comics and are compiled in a single slip-cased hardcover. A deluxe edition worthy of the hero who saved the galaxy. This massive volume follows Luke Skywalker on his journey from the moisture farm of Tatooine to the final days of the Dark Empire. Each story painstakingly selected from every Luke Skywalker comic ever published. From Marvel's first issue to Dark Horse's last, the Masterpiece Collection is the ultimate portrait of one of the most widely known and widely loved heroes of modern mythology. And rightfully so. Last hope for the galaxy. This is George Lucas era of Star Wars. This is homage to Luke Skywalker, the first hero we've seen in the Star Wars series, basically the movies. Now, I'm not saying Han and Leia aren't heroes either, but like he like there's 3 protagonists, but he's the main out of the 3. And he grew so beloved, just like Darth Vader became the most, popular villain in history, movie history. Luke became the most popular hero in movie history, in a sense. So this right here, a beautiful masterpiece. Would I have selected a little bit more? Probably, but this right here, you have Luke Skywalker's Walkabout, Star Wars Tales Icon, Falling Star, Star Wars Tales 15, The Day After the Death Star, The Return of Ben Kenobi, Star Wars 17, Star Wars Empire General Skywalker. That's a good one. We reviewed that on CAF Chat. Star Wars Empire, The Wrong Side of the War. That we reviewed too here on CAF Chat with Stig. Star Wars Rebellion, My Brother, My Enemy. Another one that we shared here. Star Wars 38. Splinters of the Mind Eye. Star Wars 60, 61, 62, 63, 95, 96, and 97. So these are all back from 1977. The year I was born. Yes, I'm showing my age. Dark Empire 1 through 6, and The Boy I Once Was, Chewbacca 4. So I know CAF Chat Book of the Week is usually focused on one book. I usually focus, even if it's in the series, I'll focus on the first book or so. But I thought this would be a great way to cover a bit of Luke Skywalker's legacy. Let me go ahead and put myself on camera. Let me remove this here, because it's not going to share me if I don't remove it. All right. And this is where I really need to get the overlay, because this sucker is heavy. Here it is. It has its own little sleeve. And look at how thick this. There's 800 pages, you guys. 800 pages right here. I'm going to have it upside down. It has the beautiful ribbon bookmark. This thing, I didn't even weigh. I should have weighed it before we came on. Should have weighed it. Let's see here. I know where I'm like, we should have been into lore talk already, but damn. It's been an exciting day. We're going to go over, but that's okay. So this is where I wish I had my overlay camera, but I will share just a little bit. Then we'll start talking lore. Oh my God. So you have all the fun 1977 comics that were selected. I'm gonna need a bigger shelf, I know. And then you have the series like From My Brother, My Enemy kind of deal, and those ones that happened during that time. You have Dark Empire, which I was trying to open up to, but it didn't open up to it yet. And I mean, it's just going through here. It is friggin' amazing. You have Lumaya in here. Look at this. Where is she? Is this it? Yes. Look at this, you guys. Look at that. Holy crap. Yeah, some of these I have on my shelf. And here you have the Dark Empire. And last, this one right here. Holy crap. Rest in peace, Chewie. So there you have it. Book of the week. It is Luke Skywalker's. Let me see if I can get this in. So it is Luke Skywalker's Last Hope of the Galaxy comic collection here. This thing is heavy. It is sturdy, is well put together. And you're not going to believe how much it cost me. And for reason why I say it's a pretty penny. Let's see here. What is the name of that? I may need to invest in that my archives purchase. So this one here, it is Luke Skywalker's The Last Hope of the Galaxy. And when I bought it, it was like $200. Yep, I'm not kidding you. $200. Let's see here. Forget the book of the week. That was book of the month. Right? This is that Wedgen's banner version? Nope, no Wedgens on that one. That's authentic. This is pre-Disney. So this came out in 2008. Yeah, I just found it. Okay. Awesome. Forget the book. Yeah, so that's it. So with that being said, I know we're running behind my intended schedule, but you know, shit happens and we are here and oh crap. Let's see here. Cancel, wrong share. Whoops, cancel, wrong invite. I'm looking for the slides. There we go. Let me just put this one up here just by itself. All right. So I need to do a segue video for lore talk portion. I have never done one yet. Now let's get into our lore talk. And we're still, of course, honoring the new Jedi Order. And of course, like I said, I'm going the path of the books, of course, but I'm not going through I'm not going through the books as if I'm, reviewing them. I'm taking events during these times of these books and sharing the events or the groups or the people who's involved, all of this. So we're doing a different approach here. And so we're going to do now is the Peace Brigade. So if you haven't had a chance to grab your source book for New Jedi Order, feel free to do so if you have it on you. If you have it. We just copy what Allure does. It's safer that way. What? Let's see here. Pierce is going to buy it for a photo op. It is fucking amazing, you guys. That is amazing. I mean, when I first received that, oh my God, I fell in love with it. The comics are great individually, but just to have a collection that, especially honoring Luke Skywalker, where it seems like Disney can't even do at all. Even Filoni doesn't care for him because he's the one who wanted to cuck out Luke, and they followed his advice for the Disney trilogy. So getting something like that honors his legacy in a 800-page hardback omnibus, I guess you could say. Fucking amazing. Fucking amazing, you guys. And it's so worth the investment. So worth the investment. I do not regret it at all. I do not regret it at all. Yes, and smash the like button. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into the Peace Brigade. And I asked this in the beginning, and those who are coming on may not, have seen the beginning. So, what do you know about the Peace Brigade? And what, by the name of it, by the name of the Peace Brigade, it is very misleading. Very, very misleading. And Scran, I know you are, what are you on right now in reading the new Jedi Order? Pre-Jake era. Yes, it is. Fun fact, the Theory Sabers cost more than that book. Okay. And the fun thing is, for the price of this book, I get how many comics? How many comics? Let me pull that back up. Let me pull this back up. This is the whole list of the comics inside the book. That is a lot of stories. That is well worth the investment, you guys. Well worth the investment. Lumaya Baby cool, but she's nothing compared to Shantique. Points to people who knows the character. Ha ha ha. There you go, you guys. Another bit of quiz. That's why I love my mods. They can bring up quizzes in a heartbeat. I am on chapter 13 of Dark Tide Ruin. Okay, cool. All right. And I think by then they have been introduced already. So Peace Brigade. Peace Brigade. So here is, I didn't change the beginning of the slide here because we're still, I'm still within, I'm pre-balance point of the timeline. So I'm keeping things the way they are right now. I'm almost to balance point reading wise, and I am kind of moving with the books as well. And I thought that maybe slowly introducing the beginnings of everything, like the new Jedi Order, what are their stance during this time. And then as we progress along, we'll talk more about the new Jedi Order, more about the Imperial Remnant, or more about the Vong, more about these entities, these groups and people as we move along, because everything shifts and moves. The Rogue Squadron, there's a lot going on behind them, especially later on. So as time goes on, we'll go back and revisit those topics again that we talked about already, and where they are at in that point in the story, or the era, the timeline. So, I'm still on Jedi Eclipse era or timeline, and so this is what we'll be talking about in general. So the Peace Brigade. Yes, Draken Salsolo is one of the leaders, or a leader, or a main leader of the group. Isn't that fucking crazy? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And of course, here is the Vong Advance. This is where they're at right now. The Peace Brigade sounds like another diversity alliance, and those guys are jerks. Yeah, you could kind of compare them to that. Nice comparison. Let's see here. I think it's the beginning of Lucino's duology, when they really start getting into the yes. I think there's a little bit of hints of that in the after, but like you start learning more about them during that time frame, if I recall. Yeah. Let's see here. And let's see here. Okay. This chat is moving like crazy, but that's okay. I fell behind because I wanted to read Cloak of Deception, and now I'm playing catch up on audiobook. Haha. That's okay. We all do right now. So I asked you guys if you could recall, or let me see, where is it at? Because I didn't follow up with you guys, so I'm going to play it again. If you...
CAF. Lots of it. For me and for the Ready Room. I have a feeling this mission is not one we can fly in our sleep.
So I asked you guys earlier if you could recall, out of the X-Wing series, where that comes from. And I didn't see if any of you guys answered. I didn't see any answers yet. So can you recall in the X-Wing series which book this came from?
CAF. Lots of it. For me and for the Ready Room. I have a feeling this mission is not one we can fly in our sleep.
All right, so if you guys can't guess it, because it is a specific little quote in within a book, and some of you guys probably haven't read the X-Wing series in quite a while, it is from Krytos Trap. And so this goes to my point that I was making to Star Wars Scran, because he says that he wanted to read another book, and then he's back at New Jedi Order. I do that, right? I decided I like Krytos Trap, blah, blah. So I'm listening to it. I've been listening to it in the last couple of days while I'm cleaning, working around the house, doing my art. So that's what I'm listening to. So I do either bounce around. I do have a, excuse me. Woo! I do have a main book that I'm reading. Of course, I'm rereading the New Jedi Order. And I then sometimes go and pick up another book or listen to another book on top of that, whether it's Star Wars or not. So I'm always having something to listen to read on top of the main one I'm reviewing or reading or rereading. And so there you go. So that's my current secondary book that I've been into. And yeah, so that's from the Krytos Trap. And I loved how I sparked Star Wars Scran to remember and pull up other CAF moments. And no, Soul Assassin, CAF does not mean milk. No, they don't have like Star Wars people are not like highly loving their milk in Star Wars. CAF is basically coffee. CAF chat. And I had to laugh about that again because I was like, wow, my cat chat used to be called coffee chat. And I think it was Tim and Stig and other people are like, why don't you just call it CAF chat? Make it more authentic Star Wars sounding. And so I just evolved that into coffee chat to CAF chat. And so I thought that Soul Assassin knew that. And he's like, CAF is coffee. I mean, CAF is milk. He went calf as in like calf, like the baby cow, and milk, I guess. I don't know. I just listened to a bridge version. Very boring. All right, so let's get back to the main topic here because I totally strayed. Soul Assassin says, I regret nothing. All right, so Vector Prime, the Vong Advance, we are talking about the Peace Brigade. So here we go. There's not that many images of those involved in Peace Brigade, so finding things, resources of images was very small collection, but finding quotes and picking up quotes was easier. So the Peace Brigade was a political faction and preliminary group that opposed the New Republic. It collaborated with the Yuuzhan Vong during the invasion. So it is said that the Peace Brigade began about 25 ABY, and their dismantling, I guess you could say, was 30 ABY or something like that. There's no real definitive, but they ceased to exist around 30 ABY. And here's a quote from Valen Horn to Anakin Solo. So you guys probably know who Valen Horn is, right? Hopefully, if not, because I do have people here that are new to the EU, barely get into the EU, and that's fine. So it's not like I'm going to shame you for something you don't know. But Valen Horn is Corn Horn's son. And Krytos Trap basically is Corn Horn eccentric, I guess you could say, or he's one of the main protagonists in that. So here we go. But those guys with Van or Vin or whatever his name was weren't Yuuzhan Vong. No, they're worse. They think by turning us in, they'll get the Yuuzhan Vong to stop their conquest at the planets they have. So that's Valen to Anakin. So both young Jedi Knights or Padawans. And they're talking about, of course, the Peace Brigade. Now we know the Peace Brigade are working for the Vong against the New Republic. And they were, later on as we get, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I don't have water next to me either. Later on when we get into more of talking about the Peace Brigade, they begin to hunt the Jedi as well. So right now, during this time, they are hunting people. They are staging captures of refugees and stuff like that to give to the Vong to be slaves and what have you. And they think that because they're doing this, that they can save themselves or their planets or what have you from total evasion from the Vong. Hey, Melissa Lord, how are you doing? I see you in the chat. So this is what the Peace Brigade is about. And I can't wait to talk more because there is a moment as we get past Jedi Eclipse with the Peace Brigade that Talon Card works with Luke about rescuing some Jedi, some of their younglings and stuff like that. So there's that. So like I said, we're talking about early stages of these certain groups that we've been talking about. And as we progress along in the New Jedi Order, we'll get more into what's going on in their role and how they affect the story and what's going on with them as well. All right. So, of course, like I said, I am, we're following the timeline. So we're still in the Jedi Eclipse part of the timeline. And it's already said last week of all the planets that were invaded, taken over by the Vong, and they're listed right here in the Jedi Eclipse map here. All the black with yellow ringed planets are already in the hands of the Vong. So you have all these planets here, and they're slowly moving towards the core. Slowly moving towards the core. So with so many planets falling before the Vong and the New Republic's ruling council dithering over how to deal with the crisis, oh my God, we'll into more into the New Republic in this era. I can't wait to talk about the fall of Coruscant and the New Republic. Holy shit, that's going to be something right there. That's going to be a big discussion. I'm at the plan starting with that New Republic and the fall of Coruscant from the beginning, and then like do our Lucas Facts and Book of the Week right away, say hello to everybody, and get into it right away. But because I had 2 unboxings basically and a special Book of the Week, and then the announcement for channel members. So Melissa Lord is a channel member. So you guys, let me know a day and time in the chats on what is a good time to do a member chat. Listen, this is like a watch party, but it's more listen party of Dark Forces, Soldier for the Empire. Soldier for the Empire. Watch the replay. OG was buzzing. I was. It's a good day. It is. And today's Gordon's birthday. Yesterday was Double A's birthday, I think it was. Was it Double A? I'm sorry if I got it wrong. But anyways, a lot of good shit happening, But anyway, so give me a day and a time, like Tuesday at 6 p.m. or something like that. And I just want to know to get a good estimate on when to plan. Doesn't mean I'm going to land on that. Doesn't mean I'm going to land on that. But I want to make sure that it's effective, or it's something that everybody can come into and watch or listen together. So it's a listen party. So we'll listen to the book and we'll discuss it in the chat. That's what that's about. And this is a way of giving back, and mods will be there because mods put their time in every single time I have a live stream. So this is something to give back for the mods as well, even if they're not channel members. So become a channel member. I need to, award channel or membership. I haven't done that yet. I just don't want to click on the screen and do this and have like airtime and stuff like that. I hate doing that. I hate like trying to split my attention and discuss and try to do something else. I don't know. I can pat my head and rub my belly. That's simple, but still. All right. Let's get back into the Peace Brigade. OG and Theory made me want to read the Dark Forces books. Thanks, Theory. Oh, because I corrected him. Oh my fucking God. Those of you guys, I know everybody here should have some knowledge of Dark Forces. Usually it's the game, but then you have the novella trilogy or the novel trilogy. And we all know why he deflected from the Empire. But Theory, in his this male or Katarn lore video, said that his father's death is what made him go into the Imperial Academy or services. You heard me. You heard me right. He said his father's death is a reason he went into the Imperial services. He also said that Morgan and Katar and Kyle, were kind of estranged in a sense. Yeah, I kid you not. I kid you not. So I did a compare and contrast between his video and Soldier for the Empire. I pulled up clips from the audiobook to counter that. Yeah. So we all know that Katarn was second lieutenant when he found out his father was killed. He was told by the imps that the Rebel Alliance killed his father. When him and his comrades were on holiday leave or whatever you want to call it, that's when he found out. Well, Jan Ors is on the same ship. They run into each other, and she basically gave him the truth that his father was killed by the Imperials, by the imps on a raid on his planet. And he's seen and witnessed his father's head on a post at their port. The Imperials, the imps, the stormtroopers did that to warn people. But they also made it look like it was like pirates or Rebel Alliance and that did it. They went undercover like that to lead and give misconception of who the Rebel Alliance was. And so that was his turning point. But he was already a stormtrooper, top in his command. So why did I do this compare and contrast video? Is to share that no YouTuber, especially how big you are as an influencer, that it is your responsibility, no matter who you are, as a content creator sharing this lore, how you have to, the importance of getting your shit right. Because you're going to have people who are coming into the EU brand new and thinking that's what had happened. That part of Katarn's life was the pivotal moment that everybody understands about him. He was a defector. they compare him to even Finn in the DT. Like people saying Finn's the first one ever to defect, blah blah blah. You know, I'm being hyperbolic here, and people are like, no, Katard is. So, anyways, I have a video up about that, compare and to contrast. This time, it's not against original lore and versus Disney. This is against a content creator against the original lore. So go check that out. But anyways, let's get back to this. Holy shit. We are like 11 after 10, and we still have to get through our lore chat, which I don't think it's going to be long for this portion of the Peace Brigade. Since a lot of you guys probably don't know much about the Peace Brigade, we're just going to get into the meat and veggies, I guess you could say, meat and potatoes about this group. And then as we progress along in the timeline, we'll talk more about their quote unquote influence of the galaxy and how they are traitors to the galaxy. So where did I leave off at? Let's go ahead and see here. So some individuals chose to make separate peace with alien invaders, since the Yuuzhan Vong need little from the Dinzin Dinzin. Oh my god, I need to take a drink. So okay, needs little from the designs of the galaxy other than complete and uncontrolled conditional surrender. The only resource collaborators can offer them their assistance in obtaining that surrender. So basically, the Peace Brigade is helping them with surrenders, I guess you could say, turning people in, all of that. The Peace Brigade is the most prominent of such groups, an alliance composed of largely of smugglers, slavers, rogues, and idealistic agitators from across the Yuuzhan Vong invasion routes. The Peace Brigade sees little difference between joining the Rebel Alliance to take the galaxy back from the evil Empire Palpatine and joining with the Yuuzhan Vong to take the galaxy from the oppressive New Republic. So Draken Sal Solo is one of them, right? To them, it's just a question of figuring out which side is most likely to win, and then finding a way of making themselves useful to that side. Traitors. The philosophy of the Peace Brigade is built on a combination of greed and idealism. The typical Peace Brigade operative believes that if the New Republic would simply stop fighting the invaders and surrender peacefully, then much needless bloodshed could be avoided. Once the fighting is over and the Yuuzhan Vong are in charge, the Peace Brigade anticipates an ample reward for its part in the bringing the conflict to a swift resolution. Well, we all know how that goes, right? The tactics are simple. The Peace Brigade prowls around worlds in the path of the invasion, and its members determine how receptive the local populace would be to surrendering, as well as the subtlety of the planet's Yuuzhan Vong's purposes, or the suitability. I need my glasses, damn it. The suitability of the for the Yuuzhan Vong's purposes. They also stir up anti-Jedi sympathies as much easier tasks that after the debacle on Ithor, commonly held to be the fault of the Jedi Knight Corn Horde. In the process, they keep worlds from drawing assistance from the one foe the Yuuzhan Vong find most troubling, the Jedi. So basically, they side with the Vong to make it easier. They want to make it easier for the planets to surrender. But the Jedi are about protecting the planets and the people of the galaxy from the invasion. And they are basically a big nuisance to the Yuuzhan Vong, right? So they are spreading anti-Jedi sentiment. The Peace Brigade then reports back to its contacts who relay their recommendations to the invaders. The Vong then decide whether or not a world would be too much trouble to take without having to commit their own forces to find out for themselves. So they go, they scout, they report back. So you see a lot of these invasions now, if you get into what the Peace Brigade is doing and where they're at, you can kind of see what planet's going to fall next, in a sense. So they're traitors. It's like they don't deserve to live. They, like, if in the real world, they would be executed for their treason. Yes, Soul Assassin. So they're a-holes. Yes, they are a-holes. Though a few members of the Peace Brigade realize that the Yuuzhan Vong are far more ruthless than they pretend to be for the benefits of the collaborators, the majority firmly believe that the galaxy will change very little under the leadership of the Vong. They really think that when there's evidence like Serpentine being destroyed to be like a nursery for some of their ships, that is like maintaining the galaxy as normal, like nothing's going to change. The terraforming that happened on planets, because certain planets, will fit certain type of agriculture type growth for their biotechnology and stuff, their food. When you get into Legacy, and I do have that Legacy Source RPG book that just barely came in today. When you get into Legacy, they already made a deal, a bargain for the Vong to go in and terraform, I guess you can say, planets to their original, at least towards their original fauna, I guess you could say, their environment. And that goes wrong. There's a whole story behind that in Legacy I'm not going to get into, but I'm just sharing, like, the Vong come in, they destroy, they see people who use technology as blasphemy, they enslave them, they kill them as offerings if someone doesn't want to conform to their god and to being slaves. But yet the Peace Brigade think that the galaxy is going to stay nearly the same as it was before. That's fucking crazy. All right, Scran, you said you have a question. Do you have the Legacy Comics source book? Which one? Because I have this newer one, this RPG source book one. Let's see here. They're like the loyalists during the Revolutionary War. Hashtag America. So I just got this one in here from for Legacy. I'm joking. You just unboxed it. There we go. See, I'm like, I was so fucking confused. I was like, what? I thought that should be it. What? Am I missing something? Please tell me because I can go buy it. I'm like already like my head spinning like, hey, I have to put another thing on my shelf. Okay. All right. All right. Where was I at? Looking the other way when invaders destroy entire worlds or enslave entire species, they tell themselves that the world should be surrendered sooner and that the species could have resisted quite so enthusiastically. So it's unfortunate that they say that some innocents get caught up in the crossfire. But if the new republic would just surrender, there wouldn't be a crossfire. See how big these guys are, like assholes? All they are is caring about themselves. Like, I don't want to be their slaves. I don't want to, be imprisoned, what have you, or conform. So if I help them with their invasion, after everything's said and done, I should be hunky-dory, I should be fine, right? Of course, since the Peace Brigade is always on the leading edge of the Yuuzhan Vong activities, they don't have to witness the aftermath of the invasion. Mass sacrifices, cruel experiments, and haunted faces of captives who have lost all hope. Now we know what happens to Tahiri Velia. So she becomes a captive, and they basically try to reshape her. And she has to live after that. All that happens, she has to live with that for the rest of her life. Her doings with her becoming Darth Caedus' apprentice. You know, of course, we have here Paleon call her his Villip, you know, giving an assault back, insulting her, basically, because she was literally saved by Jaina through a trance and stuff. There's a whole story behind that. We'll get into that as soon as we get further down the line in this era. So these guys, and later on, like I said, they will target the Jedi Academy of the younglings on Yavin 4. And that's when she gets captured. So so we'll get more into that. But this is just a glimpse into these guys here and how they are going and helping with the invasion. And basically saying, if you just surrender, everything will be fine. And then they mosey on away. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Dang, I thought jokes are supposed to be funny. No, that was funny because it caught me off guard. I was thinking, I'm like, is there another one? It is okay. At least the Mandalorians were secretly helping the Republic with info before Vong attacks. The Peace Brigades are sellouts. Yes. So that is another one. And that's the one that I need to get into the Mandalorians, but I think that will happen a little bit later down the line. I have to see where those comics line up in the timeline. So I'll probably do that shortly after this CAF chat. And because we do need to talk about the Mandalorians, which might be next week. Might be next week because they look like they're sellouts, but in reality, they're not. In reality, they're not. So good points. Great. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. So there's an archetype of these Peace Brigaders. Members of the Peace Brigade come from nearly all walks of life and all share the same naive belief that they can help Yuuzhan Vong to peacefully coexist with the rest of the galaxy. Joining up is a simple process since the Yuuzhan Vong do not directly supervise the Peace Brigade. You know, so they're idealistic. It's so fucking selfish and greedy. And also, the leadership really doesn't care who joins or is willing to serve. So we have this eclectic group that are all they're doing is thinking about themselves versus the Jedi. So they're very opposite of the Jedi. Jedi are thinking as a collective, wanting to spare the people of the galaxy from this invasion of homes and lives being ripped apart, becoming slaves, imprisoned, or sacrificed, reshaped, I guess you can say. Because we know that when they have you as a slave, they implant seeds into you that help control you. And the Peace Brigade think, oh, if I help out, I can coexist in peace. They won't do anything to me. So this is where you get the Peace Brigade, it's like an oxymoron, the name, the title's an oxymoron in general. So this is your Peace Brigade. And we'll get more into what they're going to do within the galaxy and their own selfish purposes. And they're basically Jedi hunters of the post-Return of the Jedi era, in a sense. There's many little factions that were like that, I guess you could say, but this is a main one. But they're not, and they're hunting for the equivalent of the Empire, I guess you could say. But I think the Vong are way worse than the Empire. But I'm not praising the Empire whatsoever. I'm just saying the tactics are 100 times worse than what the Empire has ever done. And the Imperial Remnant know that. So later on, we'll see them team up with the New Republic or the Jedi, I guess you could say. Because by the time they team up, the New Republic's basically just about done. I think by the time they team up, I think that it's called the Galactic Alliance by then. Because the New Republic falls to the Vong. They regroup on Mon Calamari, and they form the Galactic Alliance. Cal Almos is elected in. But there's a whole story ordeal with that, with the fall of Coruscant and the regrouping of what was left of the New Republic into the Galactic Alliance. Yes, the Vong are way worse. Way worse. Yes, exactly. And so you have, and you know, and Pelion and the Imperial Remnant already have their peace treaty with the New Republic. It's been signed during the Han duology, the Hand of Thrawn duology. So, you know, so they're coexisting as peacefully as they can. And when you look at this map, the red portion of the collapse of the core is the Imperial Remnant portion of their basically land, their segment of the galaxy, very small. And for a while there, they thought they were going to be ignored. And we'll get into that. We'll get into one of Pelion's greatest moments. And I do have a EU short on that, with Pelion's greatest moments. And I fucking love it because this man is recovering in Bacta. And he is basically confronting, what's his name? It starts with a V. I forget the Vong's name, but it starts with a V, but he's confronting him. He's like, if you're going to come here and raid, do it or get the fuck out, basically. And you can, it doesn't even seem like he's in Bacta when he's confronting and he's standing up against him. So that was one of Pelion's greatest moments ever. Greatest moments ever. Let me see what you guys are saying. The writers really went into our history when coming up with the Peace Brigade. See a lot of similarities to groups. Yes, I got an honors in history. Awesome. Something you didn't know, you guys. If you guys didn't know, Soul Assassin, honors in history. Amazing. So we have a history buff in here. Awesome. But he couldn't remember what CAF meant. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I'm not going to apologize for that. That was funnier than hell. Don't apologize for shit. Just like at the Truce of Backcourt when Empire and Republic Jedi joined together to fight the other alien. Oh, and we do have CC Rook involved in this era too. So there's a time frame of that too in here. I liked how Boba Fett helped fight against the Vong. Yes. They remind me mostly of the Copperheads from the Civil War. Wow. Yeah, the CC Rook get involved in this as well later on in the series. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about CC Rook and that as we get closer to that time frame. They remind me mostly of the Copper. Oh, I read that one right. All right. So with that being said, this is your Peace Brigade, and we'll get more into their history and how much they are a menace, or even worse than that. Oh, points for that comeback, Kochi. Hey. Hey, it was there. It was wide open, my friend. Wide open. All right. And we'll get more into the history of the Peace Brigade as we get further along in the timeline. So those of you guys who know and have read the New Jedi Order, now's your time just to go and skim through, get reminded of the lore, I'm encouraging you guys to reread with us or read with us. But if you don't have the time, the audiobooks, I always recommend abridged audios after you have read the books. So those who have read the book, you don't really have time to sit down and reread them again, get the audibles. Those are abridged, but they also have the unabridged on YouTube. And just get yourself, familiar again. I mean, because we all tend to forget certain things within a huge timeline of history in our favorite franchises, right? So join us just to, revisit and refresh your mind on the historical events during this time. If you want to reread or read along, not too late to join us. This is what this is about. Opening your mind and expanding your mind in this era or in Star Wars in general, and wanting and encouraging you to pick the books up again to reread, or at least pick up one that you want to reread that you totally love, even if it's not in the new Jedi Order. So my book, I'm almost there. Next, I believe, is Balance Point. And I'm excited to get into that. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our next topic. Dun, dun, dun. And that is Cringe Factor. But I need to refresh my coffee. So I'm going to put up a commercial here, and then we'll get into the other stuff here pretty soon. Let's see here. You know what? We haven't watched this here. I usually put this up. Here you go.
Someone asked me to give the best reason why someone should read the expanded universe. After giving it a lot of thought, here's what I have to say. The expanded universe respects the reader. In the expanded universe, Luke Skywalker's optimism continues where it left off in Return of the Jedi. He's fulfilled hope to the galaxy, just like Obi-Wan said he would, not like the Disney movies where he gave up on the Jedi or even the whole galaxy for that matter. The character you see in those movies is not Luke. Luke isn't a quitter. He's not a pessimist. He's a leader. He's inspirational. And he's always there for his friends in times of need. Another character is Han Solo. He's introduced to us in A New Hope as a loner, a man who cares only for himself and nobody else. But by the end of Return of the Jedi, that all turns around when he finally finds friends he can trust and a true love to spend the rest of his life with. And that's exactly what he does in the expanded universe. Han is a devoted husband and father to Leia and their kids. He loves his family above all else. In the new movies, Han turns out to be a selfish deadbeat dad who ran out on his family when things get tough. It's a complete 180 from the character that we saw from Return of the Jedi. Now, another thing the EU does is it rewards its readers. Attention to detail when it comes to continuity has never been done at such a level as when it was performed by the expanded universe. Avid readers will constantly be rewarded for their diligence as comics, novels, video games, and even children's books share connections throughout the entire series, making it almost a flawless, continuous story. And though it has its minor flaws, it's still the best overall story in continuity out there, period. That's what the EU does. It respects and rewards its readers. And that's the best reason you should give it a try. Long live the expanded universe.
So uncivilized.
All right, so here we go, you guys. The thing that you've been waiting for this whole time, Cringe Factor. Am I right? Oh my goodness. So this is going to be a fun one to go through. A lot of cringe going on in here. Some things will make you think they really thought that they should have changed this because it didn't make sense. It made sense to me. All this other stuff. So subscribe to Matt Wilkins. That was his video that he made regarding the EU, and I love sharing it, and of course I have permission by him to do that, and so on and so forth. So go subscribe to him if you haven't. And OG, is this the Vong you were talking about earlier, the one Pallian spoke with Vork. Yes. So that's the one. If you want to share that link for people to watch, that is amazing. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. Let me stop this, remove from studio. All right. And I make sure that I just have only one tab open because this likes to give me a hard time for some reason. So 10 Revenge of the Sith scenes that have been completely changed in the last 20 years. So mind you, they're not saying 10 or a little over 10 under Disney Star Wars' ownership, I guess you could say. And I wonder why. Do you know why they're saying within the 20 years? It might be clear as a bell to you guys. TCW. All right, so this article is by Nathaniel Rourke, and it says it was published like 21 minutes ago. This is when I found it yesterday, so that's not true. Or last night. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith nears its 20th anniversary. Now is the perfect time to reflect on its monumental scenes, many of which have been changed over time by the Star Wars stories. Widely regarded as the best film in the trilogy and even the best movie period by many fans, Revenge of the Sith features some of the saga's most crucial moments. However, Revenge of the Sith doesn't have time to expand on every element of the story. It doesn't need to. However, you could pick up the book if you want further information. That's how that works with movies, right? A task initially left to the film novelization and the original Star Wars expanded universe. You really don't have to read any of those to understand what had happened in Revenge of the Sith. He is implying that you have to read further to understand it. You do not. How many of you guys in the chat needed to look at and read other source materials to understand what happened in Revenge of the Sith? I don't see anybody chatting in the chat right now. Sometimes it doesn't catch up on my StreamYards versus on the YouTube portion. All right. In the 2 decades since then, TCW and Disney folklore have revealed more information that provides new context to certain scenes. These changes include fleshed out backstories, alternate perspectives, and foreshadowing future events in the timeline. All right. So, Star Wars in the past under George. When it came to what Leland called the hierarchy of canon, that then when he announced and talked about it, it like exploded over the fandom, I guess you could say, on what is the hierarchy versus what is non-canon within the foundation of the continuity. So we know that as G, George Lucas movies, or the movie canon. We know that as C, the expanded universe, and that includes TCW. For a long time, it included in TCW. Then you had S, which predominantly was the games and stuff, because the novels tied to the game was C canon, but the games, most of them were canon when it came story-wise to the book, but how you played it wasn't canon, I guess you could say, because there were so many different options and choices on which way you want to go with the character and stuff like that, especially as the games advanced. Then you have N canon. And also S canon were N canon material that some things were used, like Lumaya, that pushed that story into S canon. Like the whole story or the scenario wasn't canon, but Lumaya is. So that became S canon. Or quasi-canon, I guess you could say. Then you have N-canon, the stories that are what-ifs and stuff like that were deemed harming or not in rhythm with the continuity, I guess you could say. So anyways, let's move on. Revenge of the Sith's opening crawl makes more sense now. Star Wars TCW Season 3, Episode 10, Heroes on Both Sides. So what do you guys think about that? Those who have watched TCW and know about this, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Star Wars Marvel Pierce says, I still have yet to see an official announcement our publications regarding T-Canon. Does anyone have that? You know what? I haven't found it yet, but I've never seen an official announcement for T-Canon, like official. Does anyone have that, or is it the Mandela effect, kind of like Filoni's self-proclamation of being the apprentice? Yeah, I haven't found it yet for the T-Canon. So that is a good one. I've been looking for that. I stopped a while back because I couldn't find anything. So let's get into this. So the crawl made better sense. There are heroes on both sides. And this is why. Now, when you guys watched and it said heroes on both sides, were you guys so confused that it just took you out of the story? So you needed like outside material, I guess you could say, of the movie to have it make sense? Because they said, but it was unclear at the moment. Well, it is true that Sith secretly control both sides of the Clone Wars. The movies generally portray the Jedi and the clones as heroes, and Count Dooku and his droid armies as the villain. There was only a brief moment in the Separatists who left the Republic for good reasons, but were pursued or pressured into war. Thankfully, the appropriately titled Clone Wars episode, Heroes on Both Sides, explored this line in more detail, hoping to stop the war. Padme Amidala travels to the Separatist capital to speak with her old friends. Now, let me tell you, in history, no matter what side you're on, you think you are the hero. You think you are doing right. Yeah? Example, the people under the Yahtzees, they thought they were heroes. They thought they were doing right. They thought that their stance was the right one. So they see themselves as heroes. And those who fell under that faction and believed their cause thought they were the heroes. And that opposing forces were the bad guys. See what I'm getting at here? And then you have people who don't want the war at all on both sides. That's just common historical things in humanity. That video. What video is that? It needs to stop. You need to stop. That was funny. That was hilarious. So that right there didn't need explanation. Yes, George's story is good versus evil. That's apparent. But we know that, I wouldn't say there was gray areas, but we know that there's people on both sides that didn't want the war whatsoever. They thought they were the heroes, and that didn't end well for them. Yeah. Are we the baddies? Laugh my ass off. I don't know. I guess so. Well, nothing is exactly black and white. I know, but Star Wars in general was a black and white story. However, when you go into historical events, there's always going to be someone that doesn't agree to both sides and what have you. Marvel Purist says, exactly, I feel like that it was fan-made or something, and everyone took it as gospel. Yeah, okay, so let's move on. So this was basically not necessary. If you were confused by this and it took you out of the experience, I don't know what to tell you, because it's not that deep. It's not that deep. All right, number 9. Dooku's backstory makes his fate more tragic. So look what they're going in. Star Wars Tales of the Jedi Season 1, Episode 2 through 4. So when you watched Attack of the Clones, and you watched, well, when you watched the prequel trilogy in general, and you got to know more about Dooku's and who he is, did you want him to be a tragic, relatable character? And I'm not talking about anywhere outside of the movie, not the EU. We know his story in the EU. But did you have to relate? Like, did he have to be a tragic villain? Do you see where they're going with this? Like a tragic villain. This is something Disney has been doing because they don't want people just to be pure evil anymore. There has to be some type of tragic. Now, Vader, yes, there's tragedy behind him, but he's an evil motherfucker, right? But do all villains have to have a tragic, like tragedy to relate to or something? Is this what they're going with? So this, I never cared to watch any of this Disney faux lore stuff, but this is from the Jedi, Tales of the Jedi season 1, which the title's a ripoff. You know that already. We discussed this already, episodes 2 through 4. Dooku's death was only tragic. Arya's death was only tragic in Revenge of the Sith because Anakin took another step towards the dark side by killing an unarmed opponent. I didn't even see that as tragic, and I thought he was cool. Maybe that's a form of being tragic. I don't know. But I thought also seeing that he was being used, he was evil still, and he was being used, I guess you could say. But I didn't see him as, oh, he's so tragic, I feel so sorry for him. No. You know, so let's read on. However, there have been several Star Wars stories about Dooku's time as a Jedi and why he left the Order, including Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. The 3 short episodes makes you empathize with Dooku and understand what set him on his dark path. So they're acting like this is the only ever story of Dooku, that he never had a backstory. You love it how they make it sound like there was nothing from the past, but let me go ahead and read on. Although he is a flawed and overconfident Jedi, Dooku sees how the Republic's corruption and the Jedi failures are hurting everyday citizens. So he decides to go fucking dark side. Okay. That's not very productive. The first episode wisely begins with Dooku's time training Qui-Gon Jinn before showing them during the events of the Phantom Menace, making it heartbreaking when Dooku learns of his death. Watching Dooku's death in Revenge of the Sith is even more tragic, knowing that he began with noble intentions. He went nobly to the dark side. That's all he's saying. He went nobly to the dark side because he didn't like how the Jedi were at that time. Not every character can be a tragic character. Some can be just evil assholes, a-holes, yeah. Dooku was great in Legends. The Republic was corrupt, and he saw it for what it was. Right. The Jedi, not necessarily, but their choices were questionable, but they went in trying to protect the galaxy the best way they could. Now, the Jedi are tragic, but making him tragic and people empathize with him, and it was a noble deed of him to go dark, that's fucking bullshit. Dooku was an elitist, and some would say specious too, right? Dooku was an idealist. He merely saw a dark side as a tool, a means to an end. Yeah, so let's move on. These are all fucking stupid. It's like you didn't need, again, you know, expanded universe material or other material to know the character. And I would say you don't really relate to villains. You can like them for their evil premise, and that's okay. If you relate to them, then I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, that's you, but whatever. Hopefully, you know, it's not like something in real life that you would do that's awful and evil and stuff like that, and that's why you relate to them. But anyways, I'm not going to go there. I don't want to sound like a loony. So number 8. This isn't the first time certain characters have met during the... Oh, goodness gracious. Scran, this is up your alley. Scran did a wonderful video about this. Oh my God, Scran, are you still with us? Hopefully you are. If not, and you catch this replay, he has a video regarding this. How many times they fight. This guy makes it sound like this is a correction, that they needed to fight over and over again. And we'll read into this. So Soul Assassin or Purist, if you're still here, share his video in the comments so people can bookmark it and watch it after this. This is like poetry. It rhymes. I'm using that fun. It's silly. The dialogue during Obi-Wan and Anakin's duel with Dooku suggests it has been a while since these characters have seen each other. Obi-Wan tells Anakin, "This time we'll do it together," while Anakin tells Dooku his powers have doubled since their last meeting, both of which seemingly refer to the Battle of Geonosis. However, Anakin and Obi-Wan fought Dooku multiple times throughout the Clone Wars and its tie-in books and comics. The same is true for Obi-Wan and General Grievous, who explains his Jedi training with Obi-Wan while his opponent seems surprised by his enemy's ability. This contradicts Obi-Wan and Grievous fighting each other on several occasions throughout the war, with Grievous using some of the same moves. This duel and Revenge of the Sith are now the culmination of long rivalries rather than standalone fights. So he says it contradicts, but then it's a culmination of rivalries. Can't have it both ways, dear. Can't have it both ways. You already said it contradicts the movies. So how does this make sense or makes changes or makes sense for the movie? Yes, it changes it. It changes it for the worse. However, going back to the hierarchy canon point that I'm making and that I forgot to follow through with is C and quote unquote T and S can't retcon the movie. The movie's the foundation, right? So we can get into all the little bits and pieces with that or whatever, but this is not a good thing. Don't make it out as a good thing. 100 Gordon, the Revenge of the Sith novel is said then only fought twice prior, which would be in Attack of the Clone and in the video game. Walking the dog, once again, Soul has upstaged me. That's okay. That is okay. Let's see here. And their last fight lasted 3 seconds. I haven't played the game, so I wouldn't know. So thank you for sharing. Yeah, so this is not something... Okay, OG sent you a vid. All right, let's go check this. I don't have my Twitter window open, so I'm going to go ahead and move my way over there. Let's see here. Oh, boy. It's like right now it's spinning. It's like doesn't want it to pop up. Captain, for why TCW doesn't work? Yes, thank you. That is such a great video to watch. Oh, finally it popped up. There we go. Let me go into the full window of messages instead of this little pane of... Okay, let's check this out. TCW versus Clone Wars Multimedia Project Lore. Okay, let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. This is a very small, short video. However, I want to play it. So let's get into this. I need to share. Bada bee, bada ba, bada ba, and okay. All right, let's see here. All right, I have to push share. So let's see what he is bringing us. This is Soul Assassin, our resident historian.
You didn't have to cut me off. Make out like it never happened to know we were nothing. I don't even need your love. You treat me like a stranger and I feel so loved. No, you didn't have to stop so long. Have your friends collect your records and then change your number. I said I don't need that though. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody.
Okay. Thank you so much. That speaks volumes right there, in a sense, you know. That speaks volumes. Let me go ahead and pull up that article again so we can get through this. Yeah, the song is catchy. Now you're just somebody I used to know. So, number 7, Anakin's frustration with the council is more understandable. The Clone Wars. So here we go again. Now, how many? Again, I'm going to keep repeating the standard question. We all know it. It's basically rhetorical, but I love to hear it anyways. Did you need outside material to really get into the psyche of Anakin and his frustration with the council? I mean, it's pretty apparent without expanded universe or outside material that you didn't really need to read or watch or what have you to understand why Anakin is the way he is. All right, so let's get into this. Although Anakin's personality and motives were clearly defined in Revenge of the Sith. Okay, boom. This says it all. You didn't need outside material. Some of his outbursts at the Jedi Council were hard to empathize with. You didn't need to empathize with. Why do you want to empathize with? I'm sorry, I can't English today with some words. With him, when you know that he's just being a prideful, selfish brat, because you know he's adhering pride, which is a hint of the dark side, right? On how he should be handled and treated because he is the chosen one. And he's not understanding, and this is all off the movie, and he's not understanding that his immaturity is a big factor, and him not listening and following through is a huge factor why he's not on the council. It's not because his lack of abilities, his lack of strength in the Force, any of that, and a title doesn't permit you a seat on the council. It's called humility. Working with people. You didn't need the expanded universe, for example, to come to that conclusion. There's so many different factors that are chosen for you to have a seat on the council. He also had a lot of it on his shoulders. Now you're just somebody that I used to know somebody. All right. So where was I? While the council didn't grant Anakin the rank of Jedi Master, it's hard to blame him when Anakin was appointed by Palpatine rather than earning the title himself. So he wasn't appointed by our Jedi Master by Palpatine. That's kind of a confusing sentence, but he was suggested to be on the council as his liaison. See how fishy that sounds? How corrupt that sounds in a sense? Why couldn't Palpatine work with someone else on the council? Because he is manipulating not only Anakin, but the Jedi he knows that this will cause a problem because there's certain tenets, rules, or guidelines, or you have to earn that position. It's just not appointed to you because, but they granted him that because of the state of the galaxy, of who he is in a sense as the chosen one, but because he's close with Palpatine. And on top of that, then they ask him to report back to them about Palpatine, as well as Palpatine asking him to report back to him about the Jedi. That is fucking awkward too. But Anakin only makes a big fuss about him spying on Palpatine when he is being put on the council, or recommended to put on the council to spy on the Jedi Palpatine. He doesn't realize that. And I don't think anybody who argues about this realizes that Anakin was put on there as a tool for Palpatine to spy on the Jedi, for the Sith to spy on the Jedi. But because of Anakin being manipulated so much by Palpatine already at this point, he doesn't see both sides. He only sees it one way, and that the Jedi want to spy on Palpatine. So we don't need outside material for this to see why, see his frustrations, quote unquote, frustrations with the council. It's not frustrations with the council. It's basically just his pride acting towards their choice, how it's earned, all of that. So thanks to the Clone Wars, Anakin's anger about being denied and general frustration with the council is easier to understand. Again, did you need to watch TCW to understand that? The Clone Wars made Anakin a Jedi Knight at the start of the war. Yeah. The multimedia project made him that. But towards the end of the war, because he was so immature, he was so emotional, driven, all of that. There's a lot of factors to why they pulled away from knighting him until for just like months or so before Revenge of the Sith. That same Padawan left the order. Oh yeah, and he even trained his own Padawan. The same Padawan that left the order after Council abandoned her. The Council did not abandon her. I went through this. I really need to do a fucking video about this. She was a suspect. Her, the judicial system, if you want to say it's similar to ours, it seems like it is the same. Like it was inspired by. She needed to have, the order had rights to tell her, we don't need you anymore. You're going through this. Makes us look bad. You basically betrayed us. There's no evidence that you didn't do that. You're going to go through trial through the Republic. So they have every right to do that. Until proven innocent. And that's what she did. That's what happened. I'm not going to get into all the details within that time frame. But eventually she was proven innocent. And they basically apologized to her and offered her place back, but this time as a knight. She left them. She didn't want to be a Jedi. And this goes into, I think this was poorly executed in a sense. I think a lot of people misunderstood this. I think this is one of the factors where she should have just been left alone and walked away. Nothing happened with her ever again. We didn't see her. She totally disappeared. Because we know characters do disappear, are supposed to have disappeared, like Asajj Ventress. But anyways, so this right here was not necessary to understand Anakin's frustration. Oh shit, I looked up Ahsoka and saw a crazy shipper fan short. Oh, that's so bad. I don't share the video. I don't want to know. I ain't gonna pull it up. You're not gonna, just because you've seen it doesn't mean we want to see it. Even Kenobi mentions how arrogant Anakin is when he was speaking to Mace Windu, Yoda in episode 2. Very good callback. Very good callback. Let's see here. Well, Palpatine had a lot to do with inflating his ego, so there's that, on top of being seen as the poster boy for the Republic, right? And then you can clearly see the conflict within him on both the films and the EU. The Sidious use that. Yeah, you don't even need the EU to see that. Don't need. In Silver Org, hello. Let's see here. poor Soul Assassin is like, oh shit. Oh no. All right. Let's get back into this. Number 6, Ahsoka missed Anakin just before he learned the truth about Palpatine. Oh, this is so fucking stupid. You didn't even need to have this to make any changes in the scene whatsoever. This is bullshit. I'm not even going to go there. This was unnecessary. Number 5, Palpatine did indeed discover the power to cheat death. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. So again, not really necessary. Didn't really change any scenes because no one, like, this is the PT. No one questioned that in Revenge of the Sith. No one even talked about if he could cheat death or not in Revenge of the Sith. So this right here is a moot point. Not needed. Not even for Dark Empire. It wasn't needed for the PT. And it didn't change anything in the PT. The clones had no choice in carrying out Order 66. Oh, the chip. Oh my God, the chip. Here we go. That short was horrible. Poor Soul Assassin. He's like, where's the bleach for my eyes? Oh my God. So this chip right here. This is a contradictory to the movie Attack of the Clone and Revenge of the Sith. When you see Palpatine giving the order, he's just strictly going to the commanders. The commanders are given the order, but the chip says that his voice activates it. See the conflict there? So this was not needed. Big contradiction. Number 3, Anakin didn't kill all the younglings. Oh, for fuck's sake. Of course, the one that gets impaled how many times? 2 or 3 times and never dies. But is this a change? You guys decide. It's basically full lore, really. But she wasn't in the room with the younglings. In the room get slaughtered. And this also destroys Anakin's or Vader's character because he's known to make sure he follows through with what he does, right? And all of a sudden he just like goes and she pretends to die. But don't Jedi know when someone dies in the Force, basically dies because they feel themselves leaving? They sense death, basically. And at this time, as far as I know, Jedi aren't hiding their essence in the Force like what Jason was learned and Luke had learned. So why didn't he feel her not die? I mean, how did he walk away? Because he's feeling every time he goes for the kill, he's feeling their life leave, right? So why didn't he sense that? That's what I have in question. So I'm going into EU lore in a sense. No, I'm not, because that's in A New Hope, right? Because when Alderaan was destroyed, Obi-Wan felt the life vanish, the disturbance in the Force. So why didn't he feel that disturbance, that life leave her? Right. I know. It's like very, very few that even when like even the Battle of Jabim, you got to question, okay, so Anakin doesn't feel Kenobi anymore. But there's reasons why. So I'm not going to get into that story. But you're right. Yeah, Yoda felt the Jedi die during Order 66. So why didn't he feel her life leave? So that's a contradiction right there. All right. And it doesn't really change anything because that's faux lore. Okay, number one, we know now how and when Yoda learned from Qui-Gon Jinn. This is from the Clone Wars 6, Season 6. Again, we really didn't need to know when, but this still is a contradiction. Why? Because he recently started getting contact with Qui-Gon Jinn towards the end of the war. And that was understood during Revenge of the Sith. When you read the novelization, and I think this might have been a deleted scene. I'm not too sure. Someone can help me out on that one. But he is in communications during that time where Qui-Gon speaks to him because Yoda is in such great sorrow and contemplating, meditating, and he comes to him and reassures him. And that's when Yoda vows to be his apprentice. That's when he starts learning from him. It's a movie thing. Exactly. That Yoda episode was just, remember Barry's episode? Remember Qui-Gon, Bane, midichlorians? We remember. Yeah. Right. There was an extended deleted scene showing them. Yeah, exactly. I thought so. Yeah, so there we go. So my point of this right here is showing the revisionist history that's going on and how Disney wants you to view. I've talked about this before, and I'll continue to talk about it. This right here is sharing how much they want you or want to reframe your image of George Lucas's movies into their vision, not George's vision. And I stand on that. There you guys go. You guys can copy and paste that and watch that later. So this is your cringe factor. We went over time. I knew that was going to happen because there's so much going on. And it's all excitement, you guys. So with that being said, let me see before we end. Let me see if I can award some memberships here. But you guys, before we leave, what day and a time works for you to do a listen party and discussion in the chat for Soldier for the Empire? Hi, babe. Soldier for the Empire. What day and time? I'm looking towards the end of February or into March. Channel members and mods, get together, have fun, start diving into dark forces. Might as well. That's the conversation of lately, right? And get into that portion of the lore, into our Kyle Katarn, the defector turned Jedi. So let me know in the chat. March may be a good time. Yes, March may be a good time, but day and time. And then, of course, those who missed, I unboxed this. Threats of the Galaxy. and Legacy Era campaign. So I got those in. And let me see here. Yes, and Raging Rhino tonight. So go catch his. Let me see how can I do this while we're still here. YouTube.com. Let me go ahead and while I'm searching, I will play something here. Something interesting. This is supposed to be the intro for something, but it has great information. Let me just go ahead and play this.
3, 2, 1.
Everything published was king.
Good day, Star Wars fans. Long live George Lucas era of Star Wars. If you are new here, welcome, welcome. I have been watching, researching, comparing, and contrasting the original lore to Disney Star Wars lore. I have shown disdain on a beloved title being used for a new miniseries, and that is Tales of the Jedi. Taking a very loved Old Republic story title to try to recreate a similar feeling to a different story era, hoping to appease the expanded universe fans they told aren't wanted anymore. The show has 6 episodes, mostly written by Dave Filoni. Those who don't know, he is the creator and director of The Clone Wars. The average runtime of Tales of the Jedi short stories is about 15 minutes. Not a lot of time to develop a story or character. The dialogue isn't very intriguing. Continuity is not in line with their own stories and lore. Clone Wars by Tartakovsky, which had little dialogue with a short story and plot, gave more depth and development. Thinking about how I have disagreed with the title use, why did they not pay respect to the creator of the original and true Tales of the Jedi, Tom Veitch, who passed away February of this year? No, he is not the only contributor, but is the main writer and developer of the stories. You would have thought Disney Lucasfilm would give a respectful note to the creator behind the original title they appropriated. After all, Tom Veitch and George Lucas created the Sith lore together. This brings to mind how Disney Lucasfilm praised Filoni for the Night Sisters and the Dathomirian Witches in a publication that came out on the passing of Dave Wolverton. It took people like Open Airlock Policy and myself to gain Disney Lucasfilm's attention to take notice and pay respect. Tom's passing was due to complications of COVID, leaving his daughter, Angelica Stasola, to organize a GoFundMe to help Veitch's widow, her mom, Martha, keep her home and medical care through the funeral expenses. As of now, I don't know any of the outcome. It is unclear if Disney Lucasfilm helped with any expenses. As we know, they can't honor contracts with their authors. Why would they reach out and help? This is clearly what a corporation does. There is no compassion and honor to who came before. They just want to suck the legacy dry. The titles even look the same. Don't be mistaken. The company and its lore is as disingenuous as its approach and handling of what came before. Let's hold them accountable for their actions. Rest in peace, Tom Veitch. Thank you for your contribution to the original Star Wars lore.
You wanna buy some
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
Eventually.
So this is how
Star Wars
dies. With thunderous applause.
All right, you guys. I was trying to figure out how to pull up and gift memberships. I'll have to just explore that myself at a different time. But I highly you guys, let's do this. Become a member, and on probably the beginning of March, we'll have the Dark Forces Soldier for the Empire listen and discussion in the chat. So stay tuned for that. I will put out a schedule here pretty soon. I don't have my calendar in front of me, and we'll go from there. So become a channel member. You still have time. I do want to gift some channel memberships here, so I'll probably do that next CAF chat. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys again for coming in and hanging out with me, and going through everything, watching the unboxing of the two new source materials books I have. Very excited about that. Sharing a bit of Lucas fact that changes a narrative that people say that Lucas never planned on Luke and Leia for being siblings. That changes the narrative. It's always been a thought, an idea of his, which he cashed in, as he, pushed further through the trilogy. And then also the beautiful, holy crap, I got to show it again. The beautiful book of the week. This right here. Right here. I highly recommend this right here. 800 pages. And this is a compilation of Luke Skywalker comics. I highly recommend for you to add to your library as well. And as always the cringe factor, right? So thank you guys again. Stay tuned for other future videos that are coming out. I have a current one out, compare and contrast Star Wars theory, Katarn lore video versus the actual Soldiers for the Empire book. So go ahead and check that out if you have not. And thank you guys again, as always. And if you're catching the replay, let me know you were here. Glad you made it to the end. Let me know you're here. Become a channel member, like, subscribe, and share. And as always, and I was going to share this as we got into CAF chat, but this video clip I love so much.
CAF. Lots of it. For me and for the ready room. I have a feeling this mission is not one we can fly in our sleep.
Another happy landing.